Hara was wounded, and my closest friend from my village was gone. The sea had taken him. Silence fell over me, heavier than any storm. And this is how I got there. Previously, in the last episode, we finally escaped Zeonica after fighting through guards, surviving prison, and slipping through the city unseen. I reached the port. There, I found our ships, but enemy mercenaries were already waiting. Alone, I fought in the shadows, taking them down one by one, until I could signal my companions. And they came. Together, we reclaimed the ships, freed Hara, and fled into the night, and praying to make it home. I am Wusur of the clan Banu Yatesh, and this is episode 9. We escaped, and slowly, the storm began to loosen its grip. The raging waves fell back, the wind faded to a whisper, and the sea at last grew calm. For a long moment, no one spoke. We were too tired, arms trembling, hands raw from rope and/or bodies pushed far beyond their limits. Every breath felt heavy, every movement slow. The silence that followed the storm felt unreal, almost haunting, as if the sea itself was watching us now, waiting. Some of the men collapsed where they sat, others simply stared ahead, lost in thought or too exhausted to think at all. I stood at the edge of the ship, looking out across the endless water, the chaos behind us, and the long journey still ahead. We had survived, barely, and for the first time since it all began, we allowed ourselves to hope. Hope for calm waters, for rest, for home. It was too good to be true. The sea had finally calmed, the wind gentle, the ship gliding forward as if nothing had happened. For the first time, we allowed ourselves to breathe, to believe we might actually make it. Then, a shape appeared on the horizon, faint at first, barely more than a shadow against the light. I stared at it, hoping, praying, that it was nothing, but it grew, larger, clearer, undeniable. A ship. My chest tightened. "No, not again," I muttered under my breath. There was no hesitation. "Turn the ship," I ordered. The crew reacted instantly, tired arms forced back into motion, hands gripping oars that had already taken everything from them. Row. The calm sea betrayed us now, offering no cover, no storm to hide behind. We pushed forward, desperate, silent, but it wasn't enough. They were faster, closer. The distance between us shrank with every passing moment. I turned back, forcing myself to look, and that's when I saw it. The banners. Not pirates, not raiders, but something worse. Zeonica patrol, Imperial, hunting. My grip tightened on the edge of the ship. They weren't just passing by. They were looking for someone. For me. And this time, there would be no storm to save us. I gave the order. Archers loose, javelins at will. The calm shattered in an instant. Arrows screamed across the sea, dark lines cutting through the air, striking with shields, flesh. Then came the javelins, heavy, brutal, thrown with the last strength of desperate men. The enemy did not slow. They kept coming, closer, faster, relentless. Their ship carved through the water like a blade, waves splitting at its bow, their intent clear. Not to board, to destroy us. To the oars. I roared. My crew answered, though their bodies were failing, though their arms burned with every pull. They rowed, not for victory, but for survival. The distance between us shrank, inch by inch. I could see their faces now, hear their shouts, see the ram rising at the front of their ship. A single hit, and we were finished. Faster. The ship lurched forward, barely. The sea resisted us, dragging at the hull, pulling us back toward death. The enemy closed in, too close. The ram surged forward, cutting through the waves. A heartbeat, a breath, then it missed. By inches, the of water exploded behind us as their ram crashed through the space we had just left. Our ship surged ahead, barely holding together, but still moving, still alive, still escaping. I turned back, watching them struggle to correct their course. And for the first time since it began, I allowed myself a single thought: we might survive this. Then, my men began to fail, one by one. Their strokes slowed, their arms gave out, oars slipping from exhausted hands. They couldn't row anymore, not after everything, not after the storm, the escape, the chase. I looked around, saw the truth in their eyes. They had nothing left, and behind us, the enemy was gaining, closer with every passing moment. The sound of their ship grew louder, the water breaking against their hull, relentless, unstoppable. There would be no more running. I drew my blade, the steel catching the faint light, my breath steady, my body aching, but my resolve unbroken. "Prepare yourselves," I said quietly. "If they want us, they'll have to take us." The gap closed, the moment arrived, and once again, we chose to fight. We fought as warriors, not with strength, but with what little we had left. Steel clashed with splintered, the ships grinding against each other as the enemy finally closed in. They boarded. There was no stopping it now. We met them head-on. Blades flashed, men shouted. The deck turned into chaos. I struck first, cutting down one of their weaker soldiers. Fast, decisive, but then I saw them, the others, clad in plate armor, heavy, unyielding, their steps slow but unstoppable. My blade glanced off, useless. We couldn't cut through them. Not like this. I stepped back, thinking, watching, then I understood. "Push them," I shouted. "Into the water." We changed our fight, no longer striking, but shoving, grappling, using their weight against them. One of them swung, wide, slow. We moved together, driving into him, forcing him back, step by step, until he lost footing and fell. The sea swallowed him whole, armor dragging him down into the depths. One by one, we did the same, not by strength, but by will, and the sea finished what we could not. We lost many men in that fight, good men, men who had stood with me from the beginning. The deck was quiet now, the enemy slipping beneath the waves, their armor dragging them into the depths. We took what we could: coin, weapons, anything of value. And for a moment, some of the men celebrated a victory. But as I stood there, looking around, it didn't feel like one. Hara was wounded, and my closest friend from my village was gone. The sea had taken him. Silence fell over me, heavier than any storm. But there was no time to grieve. Not now. We had to move forward. We had to survive. And that is a story for another episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, like and subscribe, and follow the journey of Wusur of the clan Banu Yatash. Stay sharp.